Welcome students to the second video and the series looking at the leaves, and here we are having a detailed discussion of phyllotaxy. That's the arrangement of leaves on the stem and the branches. So uh, basically what does that mean? It means that leaves which are exogenous outgrowths, when they come out of the stem, there's some patterns. We can recognize certain patterns, certain manners in which the leaves are arranged, and that is what we are looking at in this particular video called phyllotaxy. And one important point here is that the leaves are arranged in a particular manner for a specific reason, that is to get the maximum sunlight. So not that point. So phyllotaxy basically is of four kinds, and the first is spiral. The second kind is what's called opposite. The third one is whorled or verticillate. And the fourth one is what is called cyclic. Notice the point that verticillate is a term which we also study in certain other topics like inflorescence. So be careful to understand and note the difference when the same kind of term occurs again and again. So to have a more detailed and clear look at each kind of phyllotaxy, we begin with the spiral, which is also called alternate. So what is a spiral phyllotaxy? Here basically the meaning is that there's only one leaf which is borne on a node, and the leaves of the adjacent node roughly lies towards the opposite side. So that's the point. Now, such a sentence, it's quite confusing, and we'll just now look at the diagram to get a fine idea about what is happening. So, from a particular node, only one leaf is coming out, and concerning the leaves of the adjacent nodes, they are usually lying towards the opposite side. So how is it? So how is this kind of arrangement? How will you recognize this kind of arrangement which is happening on a stem? You can see that something like right angle kind of development is happening, and it is coming out in an adjacent fashion. That is, two leaves at opposite sides, and there's a space between them, and the next pair of leaves, it's something like right angle. So not that point. Not the Be careful to understand the diagram in a nice manner, and a classical notable example is the shoe flower, that is hibiscus. So we are now looking at the second important division under phyllotaxy, that's arrangement of leaves, that is called opposite. Here, opposite, the term itself indicates what we are denoting. That's what we meant to define. That is, two leaves are born at the opposite sides of a single node. So that's a key point. And interestingly, opposite phyllotaxy has two subdivisions. The first one we are looking at is what is called opposite and superposed. So in this particular case, the leaves at the successive nodes lie in the same plane, so that only two rows are formed on the stem. So in this particular topic, in this discussion, one point I'd like to clearly mention is that it would be more easy to understand this topic if you have a good grasp of the diagram, if you have a good grasp of the key features of the diagram related to a particular phyllotaxy. So that would be the best and easiest way to remember this particular topic coming under leaves without having any confusion and mistakes. So that's a key point. So once again, opposite and superposed means leaves of the successive nodes lie in the same plane. So you can see that they are not something like alternate planes, so that only two rows are formed on the stem. And it's very easy to distinguish this kind of leaf arrangement something like each pair is occurring at a particular level, and going on like that. And two famous notable cases are Quiscalis and Syzygium. So that's about the first subdivision of opposite phyllotaxy. Looking at the second subdivision of the opposite phyllotaxy is opposite and decussate. This is another very interesting case, and I request students to have a clear understanding of what it means, and it will be just shown clearly in a diagram which will be coming up shortly. So opposite and decussate basically means the opposite leaves of the adjacent nodes lie at right angles, so that four rows of leaves are formed on the stem. So that's the key point. So note the point that here there is something like the development is happening in such a manner that between the alternate rows, or between the alternate sections, there's a right angle being formed. So opposite leaves of the adjacent nodes lie at right angles, so that four rows of leaves are formed on the stem. Once again, as I mentioned, this section it will be best understood, it will be best learned if we have a clear understanding of the diagram of the related sections rather than the other way around. So here we can see that a pair of leaves at the opposite sides. So the other pair of leaves are coming something like at right angles and going on like that. And some notable cases of opposite and decussate phyllotaxy are so not the right angle which I just mentioned, a very important key point. So some very notable cases are Calotropis, Tulsi, that is Ocimum sanctum, Zinnia, and Guava. So so also be very clear, and not to forget this examples related to opposite and decussate phyllotaxy. The third kind is what is called old or verticillate. Here there are three or more than three leaves. So not the point. So we are from a single node. It's not a single leaf actually. So this is a interesting case where there are three or more than three leaves. So three or more than three leaves develop from a single node. So in a manner, that is the most important characteristic feature of the old or verticillate phyllotaxy. And these leaves is developed in such a manner that the leaves of one whorl generally alternate with that of the adjacent whorls. So that's a key point. So the first point, from a single node, it's not a single leaf. We have three or more than three leaves. Second point is that group of leaves, when we consider that which with the next group of leaves, they are alternating. So leaves of one whorl generally alternate with those of the adjacent whorls. And some notable examples in this case. First we can look at a case where there are only three leaves, and that is Nerium. And so Nerium is a case with where from a single node three leaves are coming out, and a case a notable example where there are more than three leaves coming out of a single node is Alstonia. Once again, as I mentioned previously in this particular video, to get a fine understanding of phyllotaxy, it's better to have a good grasp, have a clear understanding, have a clear picture of the related diagram. So here we can see what is exactly meant by the old or verticillate phyllotaxy. You can see that there are multiple leaves coming out of a node, and the whole sections are alternating. The last one is cyclic phyllotaxy. And cyclic phyllotaxy is a case where the features of the opposite as well as the old phyllotaxy comes together. So this is a mixed case of the features or the distinguish or the key developmental features of opposite along with those of the old or verticillate phyllotaxy is coming together. So thanks for watching this video. If you like and if you feel that the video is good, then please subscribe to your channel and like and share this particular video. So thanks once again for watching.